Dissidia?
Hello YouTube, DrakeyC here. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Dissidia Duodecim Final Fantasy. Now, when I go into the game, you may notice something odd in the story mode here as I start the 13th storyline. Clouds is already done. And that's because, and I don't know how I didn't notice this, when I did the recordings for the prologue and some other story content, I didn't record. It recorded my voice but not the gameplay footage, so I have to redo all this now, replay it. Fortunately it won't be that difficult, it'll actually be easier. So a couple things first. Once you complete the O12 storyline, the PP catalog has this for you. Don't buy it. Confessions of the Creator, you don't want to do that until after the main story because it's much more difficult. And I just don't want to overlevel my characters before their own storylines. And you unlock this for free when you complete the O13 storyline anyway, so this is just a waste of a lot of PP. And something else is this. It causes trade components for items accessories that opponents wear to drop. I don't believe this was available in the O12 storyline, or like during that storyline. I may be mistaken, but even if it was, it wouldn't be that useful. Now we can buy it and it'll be useful because opponents wear equipment a lot more often, so this will be handy. If it is during the O12 storyline though, yeah, go ahead, pick it up if you can afford it. And then there was I believe it's here. This, yes. So I bought the Fat Chocobo play plan and I'm using that now. Now the 3 play plans you normally have, they affect which chocobo items you win, one of 3 types, and the experience bonuses you get. With the black chocobo course, you don't get any chocobo items, but you get much more experience boosts. And with the fat chocobo course, you get no experience boosts, but find lots more items. So I bought this and switched to this because I don't like the random experience bonuses throwing off my levels in the O13 storyline for reasons I'll get into there. And chocobo items can be handy for level grinding later, and also can fetch you a pretty penny if you need money and you can sell them. So that's that. Next, we're going to go into accessories. Now, when you complete the prologue of the O13 storyline, which is piece of cake, you get something called the Lucky Charm. And wait, yes, sorry. So you get it and you can lock it in the shop, and everything you can battle gen here is obtainable through normal gameplay. Like you don't need to unlock anything to get it, and you can trade it in turn for the Rabbit's Foot, which is awesome. It needs the Lucky Charm, Wanderer's Dream, that's Bots' Mannequin, and Void Shard, which is the Rift item. So piece of cake. And if you like I've done it before, like I did with the Muscle Belt off screen. Just battle gen against the Bots Mannequin a few times in quick battle, and you got it. So why this is so awesome is the luck bonus is but the summon recharge +2 is very helpful, because if it needs 3 battles to recharge normally, but with this equipped on someone, now he only needs 1 battle to recharge. So just really speeds up the recharge times of summons and lets you get way more use out of them. And I don't think there's anything else I wanted. I would like that if we need. There's a lot of things like Tome of Silence, Tome of Lies. We can't get those until later in the storyline, so we have to ignore those for now. So now let's go through the prologue again. Warrior of Lights, Double 4. One thing I did also forgotten. I went back into Yuna's storyline and played it to get this booster. When you assist gauge, it cost 100 KP, I believe. When your assist gauge is empty, 1.5 times booster. So not always going to be the most helpful thing, but very helpful in the O13 storylines and the O12 storylines. First, because you always know if you're going to have an assist or not. So if you don't have an assist, you don't have to worry about this. And then later on, I wouldn't advise like not using an assist in Confessions of the Creator. But by that point, we'll have more 1.5 boosters. So this is going to be very handy for now. I'm not worried about the boy's equipment though, because he's a little over-leveled, because I already did this once, and also you're only fighting a few battles with him anyway, so we can just head in right here. And if it looks to you like the game just suddenly took a little dip in quality, that's because apparently a lot of the cutscenes in the original Dissidia weren't in-game cutscenes. They were movie scenes that created within the in-game engine. Now, why they did that, I don't know, I'm not a game developer. But it does mean that some of those storylines, the models will look a little less quality because they're not using the HD texture pack that upscaled all the textures and that. It's just the game stretched a bit. And also, even in the original City, I remember always some of those cutscenes, they looked a little off in terms of quality.
The two gods had gathered warriors from all lands.
I believe this narration has been reused from the original Dissidia. I don't recall that. I have not played the original Dissidia in a long time because, in my opinion, Duodecim is better in every way. But this, if it is that, well, that leads into one of the major problems with Duodecim's 013 storyline. Most of the cutscenes and voice dialogue were completely reused from the first Dissidia. Even though there were story changes between the two games that caused those scenes to not make sense anymore. And in some cases, the information we're told in those scenes outright contradicts what we're told in other scenes, or just doesn't line up. And, well, we'll see this, like, very quickly. Fallen senseless. That's an odd thing. And yeah, how did you end up all the way here? Like, you were in Order's Sanctuary at the end of the 12th cycle. Oh, thank you for letting me know, game. I did not notice the character we're playing as has never been played before. So before there was a chest back here, and there's this Emperor mannequin. They are very annoying on the world map because they thunder crest, which is very difficult to avoid. Well, then maybe just... Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this. I'm not gonna fight it because it's an Emperor mannequin. We fought them in other storylines. Again, this is my second playthrough, so... You know... Yeah, there we go. Okay. I went up to him. I actually don't know why. Just, hey, let's pick a fight. Nah, let's not. I also decided to do the prologue on its own because the character we control in the first chapter, unlike the 012 storyline, is not the same character as in the prologue, so just be good drawing like, we're playing as the Warrior of Light for a few minutes and then we're gonna jump into Cloud. And also there's some reports that you unlock with the 012 storyline that should be played. Oh, I've unlocked something now. Okay! So this Moogle, his inventory expands as you earn KP across the different storylines. As you earn more KP, he adds more items to his shop. I want to write this. There's a lot of elixir. There's like 4 elixir type items. I believe it's Dusty Elixir, Elixir, High Elixir, Mega Elixir that I need to trade for trade accessories in the shop. So this could be handy, but on the other hand, I'm short on KP. These, especially this one, would also be really useful if you haven't entered EX mode yet. 0.14 booster. Very useful, at least in the story modes, but I can't afford it. Ugh. Oh. Ooh. I think Behemoth is perhaps the most overpowered summon in the game. Oh, I want that. I'm gonna remember this when I do my normal recording. I'm not doing this recording on my normal day. I'll come back on my bonus day when I get a little KP discount and buy them then, because Behemoth is very good. Very good. And this, if there's an enemy lower level than you, it will automatically kill them when you use it in a chain. But, you know, if they're lower level than you, they're probably not that difficult anyway. I imagine it could be handy in Confessions of the Creator, for KP grinding maybe, but Yeah. And now it's time to talk about the awful new mechanic the O13 storyline has. The bonus line. What it is basically is if you are a higher level than the bonus line, you start off with a KP penalty in the gateway. So because I am level 4 and the bonus line is 2, I'm starting off at minus 2 KP. Now fortunately it doesn't subtract KP from you if you leave the gateway with that negative penalty, it just affects how much you earn for completing the gateway. And they did this because you could import save data into Duodecim from the original Dissidia, and they didn't want you to cheese all the storylines with a bunch of level 100 characters. But of course if you can still do that, you can just ignore KP entirely, and just fight the enemies with your level 100 party members and grind KP on your own time elsewhere. So, yeah, I understand their intention, and it was a, good intention, but horrible implementation. So this blue emblem we are standing on is another addition to the O13 storyline. Basically, when we are fighting on an emblem, some sort of effect effect on the characters. So, as you can see, we're on the physical critical rate up emblem, so we are just going to totally kick his ass. Blue emblems only affect you. Red and blue emblems only affect you. Blue emblems are beneficial, red emblems are harmful, and there's also purple emblems, which have various effects like, I believe, stage bravery increased or KP plus 1 or something. Okay, you're annoying me. Come on, hit him. This fight is basically a formality, just to get you used to the idea of emblems. There we go, that's better, annoying me. So yeah, so emblems do make the O13 storyline a bit more interesting. Like, they add a new mechanic to where you position yourself and how you chain enemies, because, yeah, that might be the optimal spot to chain enemies, but if it's in a horrible position for you that gives you a bad status, that could be a problem. And Fleeting Flash. One thing I do also wonder is, do they wonder what these mannequins are? Because they were introduced to them for the first time in the 12th cycle. So, they're just like, oh, mannequins. Okay, that's a thing now. Whatever. And if you were wondering, in that chest normally is a purple drop. But I already opened it, so I just got a handful of gil. You too. How annoying. Oh wow, I hate you people. Why do they have to make everything difficult? No, you don't. Not this time. I did also. I upped the options. I upped the enemy strength from moderate to strong, at least for story mode, because I did want a bit more of a challenge. Although apparently it doesn't mean more of a challenge. The enemy is just a little more annoying, and they're succeeding at that, I guess. Come on, seriously? She jumped into it! Okay. I don't think so. I happen to have a character equipped, that's a coincidence, but fuck you. Blocked at the wrong time. Not smart. Nice! Just end this, please. Come on. Okay, that works. I love when I get KOs like that. You get them flipping in the air. Of course, hard to time, and you know, can't really do it on purpose, but I'm at level 5 for his storyline. I hate that. I just don't like being overleveled on principle, you know? Like, not even for the bonus line, I don't like being overleveled. Yeah, and once again, model quality looking a little worse for wear. And again, because of story changes between the original Dissidia and the remake, these cutscenes don't always make sense, and this is apparent immediately here. In the O12 storyline, Cosmos is weakened because she expended all her powers destroying the mannequin horde that were gonna kill the Warrior of Light.
I have been defeated by chaos.
No. No, you haven't. That is not what happened.
Chaos. His brutal powers destroyed the balance.
And I wonder why, like, they didn't change them. Like, I'm not a video game programmer, but I am a video editor, you know, so you would think, okay, we need to change this person's dialogue in this movie scene. Let's just open the editor, delete the voice clip in the appropriate spot, add in the new one. And you know, yeah, there may be some problems matching the lip sync again and matching the timing, but you can write around that, or like instruct them like, you have to say this, but please get the line out within 6 seconds or so, you know? You could, they could have, it would have been awkward, yeah, but as I mentioned, Dissidia's voice acting and translation is already a little awkward at times, so I take it over them just outright contradicting their own storyline and making Dissidia's confusing storyline even harder to follow with these contradictions, but what do I know?
Not a problem. I've always gotten by on my own.
If the treasure were really
And we
that
get
easy to
the
find,
glimpse of the other 10 characters.
No horsing around though. This isn't the time for games. It's time for some serious fun.
And some of the voice performances in the original Dissidia
I'm here
are
with you.
very bad.
That's scary. Just believe in me.
I think I mentioned before, JD Cullum mentioned when he voiced Kuja, he wasn't really given a sense of the character. He was just told, imitate the Japanese voice actor and try to sound breathy and effeminate, you know? And like, that's just not the way to do things. Like, at least let them like read the character's museum profile to just give them like a couple sentences about their personality. So yeah, so some of these, like Titus and Jack, they sound fine, you know, they've been through this before, they know what it's like. But other characters like Johnny Young Bosch and Natalie Lander as Furion and Terra, and I can't remember his last name, but a guy named Aaron voices the Onion Knight, their lines just sound awkward sometimes. There's a lot of awkward pauses and flat lines, because I don't think they were given good voice direction and didn't really know what to do with the dialogue. They all improved in Duodecim though, because I think now they did know the character. And I know that they like learned about these characters later, because I remember there was some sort of interview with various voice actors for Dissidia NT, and Natalie Lander was talking about Terra and her personality, and I think she mentioned a couple events in Final Fantasy VI too. So it's like, okay, you know, they've done some research on their off time, and like, she's at least like, you know, skimmed a plot summary or something, which I appreciate. And like, I don't expect the voice actors to be as familiar with these characters as fans of the games are, you know. And you know, like, you cast Natalie Lander as Terra, I'm not gonna ask her to go spend 50 hours playing through Final Fantasy VI to fully understand its plot and characters so she can voice Terra properly. But at least give them, you know, like, give them a paragraph of what this character's personality is like, so they know how to depict them. And like, especially with characters like Terra and Kefka, or like Zidane and Kuja, when they're interacting with their arch enemies, you need to know, like, these characters have a history, you know? Like, Zidane is not going to talk to Kuja the same way Squall would talk to Ultimecia, just to use that as an example. Anyway, there's the prologue done and my voice acting rambling. So now we have reports to do. I believe it's report 8, yes. Oh, no, whoops. So this is the first one. Shantaro! Oh boy. I said it before and I'll say it here, Shantaro is possibly the worst character in the game. And this is one benefit of me having to re-record this, because I had to battle gen more items to get that rabbit's foot that I mentioned, because I had to fight a couple bots mannequins, or fight bots a couple times in quick battle. And for some reason I used Shantaro to level her up, and Shantaro is awful, especially with... She doesn't even start with bio, she just has the 2 staff attacks at level 1, she learns bio at level 4, I think it was. Ugh. So yeah, Shantaro's possibly the worst character in the game. In my opinion, she is the worst. I don't follow tier lists. I've looked at one and they put her lower tier but not in the bottom. In my opinion, she should be in the bottom. She is just horrible to play as. Lucky for her, she's entertaining in cutscenes though. The thing that always interests me with these characters like rhyme like this and their dialogue, it's like, does it come naturally to them? Or like, do they even realize they're doing it, or is it subconscious at this point? Or are they doing it on purpose and they have to as a practice in their off time, you know? And then there is Gabranth, who is a much more fun character to play as. Not practical for competitive play because he is very, very vulnerable to assists, but he is very fun for casual play. And his voice actor apparently Michael Rogers was the voice actor of Gabranth in Final Fantasy XII, and he's Scottish, so you know, affect like a British-ish accent. Sure, no problem. But this game though, apparently they had lost contact with him, so they got Keith Ferguson, who voices Bosch, to do it instead. And that sounds like it makes perfect sense. Oh, they're brothers. Of course they, you know, voice the brother. Except Keith Ferguson is an American, I believe, and his accent is varying quality. That's why we have the meme, "Hatred is what drives me." Like, he shifts between, like, the posh, upper-class Britishness and just Cockney. He's better in Duodecim, and you can hear that, if you watch his cutscene, you can hear that, yeah, he's doing a better British accent here, but it's still not good, and he still doesn't quite sound like Gabranth. I remember it led to a theory that, could this actually be Gabranth, or maybe this is Bosch impersonating Gabranth? But, you know, then his museum profile makes it clear, no, this is the same Gabranth. So, why I say Shantaro is so awful? The idea is that her bravery attacks are mostly supportive, they don't do much damage. Ah, thank you. And the idea is that she can chain her HP attacks together to pile on more bravery damage before dealing HP damage. This is a horrible gimmick though, because her HP attacks are slow and easy to avoid. Now, they power up to alternate forms as she gains bravery, but you know, she can't reliably deal bravery damage, so she has a lot of trouble leveling up her HP attacks. And especially since they changed her EX mode effect from the original Dissidia to here. In the original Dissidia, Shantaro's EX mode, she didn't lose her bravery when she landed an HP attack. But in this game, when she uses an HP attack, her brave quickly recovers back to its base value, which is basically the Mandragora summon, and you've seen how it is intensely useful and I love it all the time. So, yeah, Shantaro's EX mode effect is just the Mandragora summon, and it really does not improve her that much. They did give her other improvements, but it doesn't help. Like in the original Dissidia, Shantaro could just hit an HP attack and fire off an EX burst, deal tons, and she'd retain the bravery from the HP attack during the EX burst, and then after the EX burst, would retain that bravery too. So once she hit EX mode and got an EX burst off, you were in for pain. Here, if you're against Shantaro, no. On the other hand, there's the other Final Fantasy XI character. She was revealed in the original trailers in an FMV. Like the other trailers just had like 3 seconds of an FMV showing her, and I'm like, who the hell is that? I had to like look it up. Oh, that's Prish. Okay, whatever. Then I actually played the game. Prish is awesome. Like, Prish is a very fun character to play as. We may see some gameplay from her later. Well, you will in my official quest videos. Yeah, Shantaro is kind of busy threatening her ally here. But yeah, Prish is very fun to play as, and also a very fun, entertaining character. The voice actress is just like Laguna's, just brings the character to life and does a great job voicing them. Prish is just hilarious, great character. At least based on this game. I have never played Final Fantasy XI. And then, speaking of popular characters, guess whose time it is? That's right. It's Greg! I haven't played Final Fantasy XIV either, but I heartily embrace that joke. It's actually interesting charting Gilgamesh's history, because he started in Final Fantasy V, and I know he was popular. And then they threw him in Final Fantasy VIII, which really wasn't anything special.
Nope, me either.
Like, Final Fantasy VIII also had, like, the Gigantor as a summon. And then he was in Final Fantasy IX as, like, a brief cameo. Like, there's a character called Alleyway Jack. But if you steal enough items from enemies and get your treasure hunter rank up, eventually he identifies himself as Gilgamesh. And he has 4 arms, so that's why Zidane made that crack about the 4 arms. But then Final Fantasy XII came along, where we got voice acting for Gilgamesh, and remix of Battle on the Big Bridge, and he had counterfeit weapons of other famous Final Fantasy protagonist weapons. And I think that's like really where the fan base fell in love with him. Because, you know, how do you not fall in love with that gimmick? They added him to the remakes of Final Fantasy I and Final Fantasy VI, and added him to the After Years too. And now at this point, it's like, we just expect Gilgamesh is going to be in the next game. And now for this story we have to play as bots. Recommended level 12. Well, that's just a suggestion, like it's just a recommendation. Just take a quick look at bots. Should be fine. Yes, the reason I have Mithril Bangle because you find a Mithril in Cloud storyline, and I traded one for a Mithril Bangle. So spoiler alert, that's something you're gonna see in Cloud story. I hate this. I don't know why I didn't record the first time I played this. Like, I did the exact same recording setup later in the game for Cloud Story, and that recorded fine. I don't know. Saturday was just a day, because I was also doing Cloud Stream where I had the 25-minute fight with a mannequin. Oh god, that fight.
Well, well, Barts, we meet again.
Later on, there's an FMV of this scene, and I don't know why they didn't just put it here. Because, like, you know, you have the FMV, put it in here, and then just seg into a normal cutscene with them. I don't know. Like, why make the same scene in an FMV and in the in-game engine, and then use them for basically the exact same purpose, just in 2 different places? Like, I don't get it.
As you looked on slack-jawed, but as you can see, it could not hold me. Oh no.
I remember people were upset that John DiMaggio didn't return for voicing Gilgamesh in this game. But like, I liked him as Final Fantasy XII, but I wasn't particularly attached to him. John DiMaggio's awesome, but you know, didn't have to be him. His voice actor in this game is Keith Zawabajka, and I am sure I mispronounced that. I've actually never tried to pronounce it out loud before. It's just like I look at that name, it's like S-Z-A-R, and there's a B, J, and K later. I'm not trying to pronounce that. Yeah, and he does a perfectly fine performance too.
I stand here before you. I have dreamed of this moment.
Gilgamesh is Gilgamesh, overly hammy and fun and silly. Apparently also, the guy who voiced Gilgamesh in Final Fantasy XII had passed away by the time Dissidia Duodecim came along, so they had to change his voice actor. And apparently, like, except for one other occasion, which being World of Final Fantasy, where the Dissidia Duodecim voice actor returned, Gilgamesh has had a different voice actor in every game he's appeared in. Which is just, wow, that's surprising. And he also has a different voice actor in Final Fantasy 15 in English, but, you know, then that's such a different character, it really shouldn't even be called Gilgamesh, in my opinion. And Keith only voices him in, from here, only voices him in Final Fantasy 13 too. So yeah, I just don't know why they can't get a consistent voice actor for Gilgamesh. You have people like, you know, Steve Burton that, you know, have voiced their characters for more than a decade. Like, what is it about Gilgamesh that they can never remember who voiced him and don't bother bringing them back for repeat performance? Like I said, level 12 is just a suggestion. Did he just literally walk into that attack? Oh, Greg. That is Gilgamesh for you. Zobot's gonna be a little over-leveled for his storyline. I'll live.
I see you too have been honing your skills. It matters not.
Yeah, you unlock, like I said, you unlock these reports after you complete the O12 storyline, and completing them unlocks Prish and Shantaro to purchase as playable characters. Gabranth and Shantaro are already in the PP catalog when you start, so now you have all the new characters.
I'm dead serious. Take a look. You're starting to fade out or something.
Fade out? Huh? What? No! Some sinister effect of the rift?
I don't know why he started fading before he started getting drawn into the portal.
Not again!
And honestly, the effect's not that good. Like, you can see like his limbs like going through the edges of the portal, and he's pulling parts of himself out of it. You know, I just would like just do it as quicksand. Oh no, he will return. Gilgamesh actually features in 2 official quests, both of which are very fun. So you can look forward to seeing those videos on my channel.
If he's gone back to that rift place, then I guess we'll meet again at some point. Probably.
Not since Omega and Shinru has an interdimensional rivalry been so epic. So, that is the reports, that is the prologue. I went over all the PP catalog and item purchasing. I am pretty sure that's everything that's going to be in this part. It was a shorter part anyway. As I originally recorded, it was 40 minutes because I had a couple boss fights for the battle genning. So, that is everything for today. Last time, we start Cloud's storyline in the past, which I've already played. Time paradoxes, aren't they fun? See ya, everybody.